The honourable member for, oh my gosh, it's Monday morning. Battle River Crowfoot.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And I, like the previous member, stand today to address some of what I believe are very, very serious challenges when it comes to questions posed related to the order paper questions. And Madam Speaker, I would, if I could, read from the standing orders of the House of Commons. This is the September 2021 edition, where 39.5 subsection B does state, if such a question remains unanswered at the expiration of the said period of 45 days, the matter of the failure of the ministry to respond shall be deemed referred to the appropriate standing committee. Within 5 sitting days of such a referral, the chair of the committee shall convene a meeting of the committee to consider the matter of the failure of the ministry to respond. The question shall be designated as referred to committee on the order paper, and notwithstanding Standing Order 39.4, the member may submit one further question for each question so designated. The member who put the question may rise in the House of Commons, House under questions on the order paper, and give notice that he or she intends to transfer the question and raise the subject matter thereof on the adjournment of the House, and the order referring the matter to committee is thereby discharged. And Madam Speaker, there is a growing trend when it comes to the responses that the government has brought forward to order paper questions, certainly that I have seen and have with the questions that I have brought forward to this House. I would refer specifically to question 604 put forward by myself, that has, which is signed by the Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of National Defence, where the information provided in that answer varies differently from information that was both reported in the public and information that I had received via members of the Canadian Armed Forces. Specifically, Madam Speaker, for your context and for those watching, this has to do with the number of Canadian Armed Forces personnel that were put on leave due to their choice of not.
I want to indicate I get the honourable member's point, and I will take the information under advisement. I want to remind members that are getting up on this point of order that our precedents are clear that it is not for the chair to rule on the content of the responses to written questions. Indeed, in a ruling on a similar matter on April 25th, 2022, at page 4310 of the debates, the chair stated, the chair is of the view that ruling on the completeness of responses to written questions is tantamount to ruling on their content, and that is not the chair's role. So, although the honourable member is mentioning, that the information was different, he may not like the information that he received, but he did receive a response. I'll go to another point of order. The honourable member, I'm sorry. The honourable didn't finish adding, because if he wants to continue on the information that he had just provided, as I indicated, he may not have been satisfied with the information he'd gotten in his point of order, but it's very clear that that's not how the responsibility of the chair to rule on the information that he's received. The honourable member for Battle River Crowfoot, if he can wrap it up, please, because points of order and points of privileges need to be succinct and to the point, and they shouldn't be dragging on. The honourable member.
Absolutely, Madam Chair, and certainly I would not want to drag on. I would just point to Standing Order 22.19, where points of order, where the indication and in the effort of being succinct, I think certainly when addressing these fundamental questions we have before us, and there's 3 specific questions, and to ensure that I am in fact succinct, Madam Chair, I would simply reference specifically the other 2 questions that I am calling the chair to look at as to whether or not just the government provided a response, but whether or not that response was satisfactory. Because, Madam Speaker, the work that we do within this place, it is fundamentally important that Canadians can trust the information that is provided. So it has far less to do with whether or not I am satisfied with a response. That is quite frankly not even relevant to the discussion. But when the government hides behind procedure, hides behind the ability to simply reply by saying they cannot reply, or in some cases, simply it seems like they are not willing to go through the work. And I would refer you to question 286, Madam Speaker, signed by the Parliamentary Secretary to the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance. There is a very clear unwillingness on behalf of the ministry to provide information that it's again, Madam Speaker, It's not that I am dissatisfied with the answer, but it's the fact that it seems like there is an unwillingness on the government to provide any information related to the substance of a question. Madam Speaker, I may not like the answer, but it is not the responsibility of the government to decide whether or not they like the question. And I would further refer you, Madam Speaker, to question 565, where it's signed by the then Parliamentary Secretary to the President of the Treasury Board, and it has to do specifically to work that is being done at the Ethics Committee, of which I am a part of, where, Madam Speaker, it is, again, the answer is not whether or not I agree with the substance, but we see that the government seems to be using the 45-day timeline, but the requirement thereof needs not simply to have a response tabled in this place so that they can then shake their hands of anything to do with those questions, Madam Speaker. Important questions that in some cases my constituents bring forward, like I referenced with
satisfied with the information that I